Salama students, today let's talk about a new idea that we talked last year about it in Introduction to Linguistics. I hope you are still fine and healthy, and I wish you a great week. We have to do a lot of things this week because last week is just started week for the e-learning, and this week it will be so practical because we will produce some videos about it. So today we need to understand that the first slide here, or the first view that you can see from that part, there are only dozen or so features needed to describe every speech sound in every human language. So if we talk about phonology and the sound patterns of language, we have to understand that sounds so different because the way the language use speech sounds to form patterns differs from language to language. It means here some languages prefer to use a lot of stresses, or they use so much energy and effort when they produce some words and sounds. So in Arabic language we have also to use this effort to produce some sounds, and that's why the phonology comes up to show us why the students, or why those who study linguistics, have to know exactly what is phonology. And we need to continue here, pronunciation of morphemes. So it's directly moved to exact part what we need to understand about pronunciation, or this kind of part like pronunciation of morphemes, plurals. Like when we talk about plurals, sometimes certain morphemes are pronounced differently depending on their context. So we recognize this in grammar 2 and grammar 1 last time when we described that three ending word. Like sometimes when we add plural to these words, it can be sometimes pronounced as z or s or is. So here if we need to say bag, it will be bags, and we add z here at the end for plural. And second part, if we need to add to this word, it ends with p, k and th. So th sound, k sound and p, so it will be only s, like we say caps, fifths and backs. So here the second part, the third part here is like when we say bus, buses. So we try to understand why it's like this. It's a phonology. This is belong to phonology. And to continue here, another movement, how to determine a rule for it. So they say plural morpheme or allomorph is used. It is useful to create chart. Here the chart. Look at this chart, and it has so many words to describe it. So here they mentioned it as allomorph. Here allomorph, like it ended with after the last morpheme, how we change the pronunciation and how we give that phonology or the sound pattern. After, like here they say cab, cat, bag, love, and this is cam, can, bang, coal, bar. So all of this we want to give kind of plural. If we want to say here like boy, boys, so boys, it's clearly that it ended with z. And second part, if we say like faith, and faith here, faiths, we add s. Last part, when we say bus, it will be buses, buses in the pronunciation like this. It will be pronounced definitely and absolutely like this. Let's continue. Here we have pronunciation also for minimal pairs. We talked last time like minimal pairs, same words are definitely or absolutely completely the same, but one sound is different, or one letter here, the phoneme is different. When we mention minimal pairs, the phoneme is different. So it's like about identical except sound, identical word except one sound. Like if we say cab and cap. So this is minimal pairs. Let's continue about the next part. We have here they mention here Z occurs after voiced non-sibilant segments. Second, S occurs after voiceless non-sibilant segments, and is occurs after sibilant segments. So to make sure what do we mean by it, we know exactly what do we mean by voiced and voiceless, so this is very clear for you. But to continue the point here, we can simplify it by creating and assume Z is the basic or underlying form of the plural. So it means here we fix Z just to feel whether this word can be accepted to pronounce with ending Z, like the last sound on the word is Z. So here we need to insert schwa before plural, like what? Here we have changed plural phoneme Z to voiceless S. So from Z to S, this is second, and this is how we can define the differences, how to change and insert. Okay, pronunciation of morphemes. Continue the same point. The chart illustrates how plurals of bus, bug, and other words like pot pronounced. So here we say buses, so we have here kind of rule 1 when we insert schwa, and then when we change to S. So if we change it to S here, like schwa buses, and here change it to S pots, and here we give Z bugs. So the 3 examples here, it shows like how we can apply it. Okay, let's continue and think about it. Like here we have possessive, women, women, and women's, ship, ships, judge, judges. Third person, singular, need, needs, eat, eats, rush, rushes. So we're still applying the same rule. In this point here, like I like, I don't like, I go, I don't go. So homo organic, neither rule. I go, I speak, I like. Phonemes, the phonological units of language. Phonemes are the basic unit of sound. So each phoneme has one or more sounds called allophones associated with it, which represent the actual sound being produced in various environments. And here we have vowel phonemes. So vowel phonemes, we realized last time when we talked about pit, pit, like long vowel, short vowel. And we mentioned here some point of view like pate, pat, pit, pit, boat, about, pot, boat. So here we can recognize how the pronunciation can be changed. And if we need to the illustration down, we have to illustrate it. Vowel are nasalized. Like what do you mean by nasalized? We can feel that we stress or we push some air from the nasal or the nose or nasal cavity. Nasal cavity here we say bed, bean, lame, bang. So bang here is very clear. When we look at this pronunciation, we can recognize that there is nasal consonant here, bang. Allophones of T, how we can pronounce like T sound. Sometimes we add H, as you say tick, stick. So after T here we have H sound. If you can see how we can produce it, like T is pronounced T before stressed vowel, and then we have T is mentioned in the second part, T directly before or after S, and then we have T is pronounced between stressed or a stressed and unstressed vowel. If we pronounce tick, or we mention it as we still speaking the same, but even if it sounds strange, like something like if we say sick, trick. So it won't be like clear here when you say sick. It has a different meaning because we have to say tick. Like tick will not be sick. The meaning here, changing here with T and S are separate phonemes. And let's continue to talk about complementary distribution. Allophones of a phoneme are in complementary distribution. They never occur in the same environment, like Superman and Clark Kent. So here oral vowels, we have like final position before nasal consonant before oral. What do we mean by yes, no? We need to know this in the following slide here. Let's go check out the slide. We have what we have here, the examples. We have here, like, let's say male or will. We have the word here, it's mentioned like it can appear in uppercase and in cursive handwriting. Cursive, this is a cursive handwriting, how it looks like called allograph. This is cursive writing. So to continue down, what do we need from all of this? Let's look at this part, feature value. We practiced this in the previous weeks, how we give the features for the consonant. And if you can see here the features, we have stop voiced, labial, alveolar, velar, nasal. So within this, like, we have voiced and voiceless. So plus means voiced and minus here it means voiceless. We practiced this previously. We don't want to talk about it again. We have non-distinctive. So if we talk about the features, distinctive and non-distinctive. So let's look at non-distinctive here. It means something not, or it's something redundant or predictable. So predictable, it means we can predict it. However, for example, nasalization is a redundant feature for English vowels. Not all of vowels can be nasalized, but in the same time it has a redundant, like it can be repeated. When we have vowels, we know or realize that we have to nasalize the vowel. This is distinctive. It's like something clear we have to do with it, like, but it is distinctive for English consonants. Phonemic here we have aspirated by H here. Aspirated means when you say pa, so tam. So after it, if you can check the aspiration after those voiceless words or voiceless sound, and this voiceless can later on recognize that after P, T, and K there is H sound. So this is a reflection about aspiration. And here we have voiceless unaspirated, voiceless aspirated. In the first part, they say like ba, forest, cat, to bite. So in Thai, they don't have the voiceless aspirated. They have unaspirated. So in Thai language, not in English, but in English we have the aspiration. Okay, continue. Again, in the following slide we have another figure. In this figure we have to look at consonantal, sonorant, syllabic, nasal. So here we have some major natural classes of sound specification. We have obstruents, we have nasals, liquids, glides, vowels. We don't have to check out this is in detail, but we will look down into details. Here we have features of American English vowels. We just look it very quickly, and we have to bring up the British English vowels. So here I show you the American English vowels. You have as homework to show me exactly what are the British English vowels. Go back and check them out. It's not a big deal to find the differences. It's just very tiny changes in the symbols. Okay, so here we have assimilation rules. Assimilation means two sounds will be together or inserted into the same place. Like here, place of articulation, we have co-articulation effect. We talked about it last time. And here we have dissimilation rules. Dissimilation, like we have annual, annular, mental, columnar. We have penal, and we have spiritual, similar, venal, velar. So this is dissimilar. It means something not similar. It like change somehow in the suffixes. You can see the suffixes here, venal, velar. So the first part, something change here, L sound, and here N sound. Segment insertion. When we talk about it, we have to understand something about the examples. We have sign, we have signature. So if you talk about A, this is about deletion, like you deleted something, and here you inserted something, signature. So the segment here, we added suffix, and this suffix it changed the way of pronunciation. Here we say sign, so the G sound here is not there, so we couldn't pronounce sign, even though we pronounce it in signature. So in signature we cannot say signature as we say sign or signature. Here we cannot say design or design, the word of pronunciation design, and here we say designation. So designation, we produce the G sound and we delete it here. So this is the meaning of deletion and insertion. Continue there. We have functional phonological rules. The function is the last point that we need to talk. This is derivation, the derivation of the sounds. If you look at derivation, you have TH, as we say, this is about the allophones and aspirated, and we have A, and here we have schwa. So we have nasalization here, we have aspiration rules, we have schwa rules, and we have surface phonetic representation, as I showed you previously. So you can look at this derivation with two concentration level, with high level of concentration, to understand what do we mean. Slip of the tongue. So slip of the tongue is very, very important point for phonology. If we need to look at it, it's like ganaseed. So gantaseed, how the American pronounce it, and got seen. So here how we have speech errors, and these errors we have to realize it by calling these errors as slip of the tongue. So to look down here, we have, or before it, we need to understand this point, like the vowel is intended entrances is replaced by a, because the vowel is no longer followed by a nasal. So that's the point here. There is no nasal vowel here. That's why, or nasal sound. That's why we pronounce it, or we utter it like this. Gantaseed. We cannot say ganaseed. Gantaseed and got to seen. Fine. So moving to syllable structure. In this point, if you look at syllable structure, we talked last time about the segment here of the syllable. If we talk about what do we mean by segment, this is a segment. the segment. We mentioned previously that we have onset, we have rhyme, we have coda. In rhyme we have nucleus. So I previously explained this to you, and here we have one example which called like splint. So this is one example how it show like it can be clustering here in the onset, 3 consonant sounds in onset. Nucleus usually, and most like all the cases it's about vowel, and sometimes it's called peak. Coda, as you see again, it's about consonant. So let's move to this part. This part we need to explain it in the following lesson. Today I'm not gonna speak about word stress and what do we mean by stress and what do we mean by other point of views here. We need to talk about sentence stress. We need also to talk about intonation. It's like here in the next lesson we have to define exactly what is the meaning of stress, and then we will move to sentence stress. After that we have to speak or to talk about intonation. And intonation here, we have contrastive tones. Other point of view, like we have lexical gaps. All of these issues we talked about it. We will talk about it in the following recording and the following video, because it needs more examples and it needs your exercise with me or your practice, how we can train ourselves or practice to do it on time. Thank you very much for listening, and I wish to talk to you very, very soon. Thank you again.